8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Lavani Vichetunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The election expenditure bill to be debated in the Parliament tomorrow. The Bureau of Rehabilitation bill passed in Parliament. South also slashes the prices of 12 essential goods from tomorrow. All set to commence the 2022 GC Advanced Level Examinations on Monday. The Indian External Affairs Minister to visit Sri Lanka. The government was able to save around $1.2 billion from the first 3 months of implementation of the import restrictions. Murder of female university student, boyfriend remanded until the 30th of January. The power cut schedule for the next 2 days announced. In news overseas, Ukraine's Interior Ministry leadership killed in helicopter crash. And in sports news, Australian Open 2023 injured Rafael Nadal loses to Mackenzie McDonald. Those are the headlines, and now more to the details of the local news. The examination department today announced that the GC A-level examination for the year 2022 will be held on Monday the 23rd and continue until February 17th, the Examination Commissioner General HJMC Amit Jayasundara said. While addressing the media today, he said the examination will continue for 22 days except for Sundays and government holidays. A total of 331,709 candidates, including 278,126 school candidates and 53,513 private candidates will sit for the examination. 2,200 examination centers have been established to conduct the examination around the country. 317 coordination centers were established to coordinate the examination centers. In the meantime, several special examination centers were established. For inmates, one center was established at Valikada Magazine Prison. Another 2 examination centers have been established in Ratmalana and Thangala for candidates with special needs. Arrangements have been also made to establish an examination center at the Apeksha Hospital, Maharagama, the Commissioner General added. Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will undertake an official visit to Sri Lanka from tomorrow. The 2-day short visit will conclude on Friday. During this visit, the Indian External Affairs Minister is scheduled to have official discussions with Foreign Affairs Minister Ali Sabri and pay courtesy calls on President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and other dignitaries. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will be accompanied by Joint Secretary IOR Puneet Agarwal, Director Sandeep Kumar Bayapu, Deputy Secretary Sri Lanka Nahidi Chowdhury and Deputy Secretary Raghu Puri from the Ministry of External Affairs, India. The university student arrested for allegedly murdering his girlfriend with a sharp weapon at racecourse grounds in Colombo was today ordered to be remanded until the 30th of January after being produced before Colombo Chief Magistrate Court. Producing the suspect before the Colombo Chief Magistrate Prasanna Alves, the Cinema Garden Police filed a report regarding the ongoing investigations into the incident. The defense counsel, who appeared on behalf of the suspect, told the court that his client is suffering from a mental illness and sought an order directing the prison authorities to produce him before a psychiatrist. Accordingly, the suspect was ordered to be produced before a medical officer at the National Institute for Mental Health. Accepting nominations for the upcoming local government election begins at 8:30 a.m. today, the Elections Commission said. Accordingly, nominations will be accepted until 12 p.m. on January 22nd. Commissioner General of Elections Saman Sri Ratnayaka stated that the date for the local government elections will be announced on the 21st of January after concluding the acceptance of nominations. Meanwhile, accepting election deposits of the candidates began on January 4th and will continue until 12 p.m. on the 20th of January. It is reported that a total of 29 political parties and 52 independent groups have placed their deposits for the local government elections between 8:30 a.m. and 4:15 p.m. yesterday. During this period, New Lanka Freedom Party placed deposits for Colombo, Gapaha, Kalutara, Matale, Nuwara Eliya, Galle, Ampara and Puttalam districts. while the main opposition Samika Janabalawege placed deposits for Colombo, Kalutara, Matale, Galle, Jaffna, Batticaloa, Puttalam and Ratnapura districts. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party has tendered deposits for Colombo, Nuwara Eliya, Galle, Vavuniya, Batticaloa, Trincomalee and Ratnapura districts during this period. In addition, Janasatha Peramuna, People's Freedom Front and the United National Party also lodged their deposits yesterday for the upcoming local government election. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. The leaders of political parties have decided to debate the regulation of election expenditure bill in Parliament tomorrow. The decision was taken at the all-party leaders meeting held this afternoon, chaired by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Earlier today, Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abeyewardene informed the Parliament of the aforementioned special party leaders meeting. The second reading of the Bureau of Rehabilitation Bill has been passed in Parliament today by a majority of 17 votes. In the division held in the Parliament following the debate on the second reading, the bill received 23 votes in its favour and 6 votes against it. Meanwhile, the committee stage, the third reading of the bill was passed in Parliament with amendments. In October 2022, the Supreme Court determined that the Bureau of Rehabilitation Bill as a whole is inconsistent with the Constitution. In its determination, the Supreme Court stated that the relevant bill can be enacted only by a special majority in Parliament and a referendum, and that the inconsistency would be ceased if the clauses in question are amended accordingly. The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka has approved power cuts of 2 hours and 20 minutes for January 19th and 20th. Accordingly, the power cuts will be imposed as follows. Groups A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V and W 1 hour during the daytime and 1 hour and 20 minutes during the night. Sathursa has decided to slash the prices of 12 essential goods. The main objective of this exercise is to provide the relief to the general public. Accordingly, the new price of a kilogram of big onion is 180 rupees. White sugar 1 kilogram is priced at 216 rupees, while 1 kilo of red rice is priced at 179 rupees, and the prices are effective from tomorrow. 1 kilo of samba has been reduced from 210 rupees to 189 rupees. Further, the prices of white nadu rice, kiri samba, dal, chilies, white flour and spreads are also reduced from tomorrow. General public can buy these goods from the Sathursa outlets island-wide. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The main news story for tonight, State Minister Ranjit Siamlapity says that the government was able to save around $1.2 billion from the first 3 months of implementation of the import restrictions. The government decided to restrict the importation of 1,464 non-essential goods from August 2022-23. Thereafter, the report based on the supervision made by the Finance Ministry and the Central Bank revealed that the country saved around $1.2 billion from the import restrictions during the months of October, November and December 2022. State Minister made these remarks in Parliament at a debate to seek approval for the Gazette notification on the import restrictions of 780 non-essential goods. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And a watchlight in support of the government's National Integrated Mechanism for Food Security and Nutrition, Fonterra has provided free milk powder to 70,000 low-income families, the President's Media Division says. Joining the National Integrated Mechanism for Food Security and Nutrition program set up under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Fonterra Brands Lanka Company has donated milk powder worth 170 million rupees to 70,000 low-income families experiencing financial hardships. The donation was made symbolically at the President's office yesterday with the participation of New Zealand High Commissioner Michael Appleton and a group of New Zealand representatives. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the world news: Ukraine's Interior Ministry leadership killed in a helicopter crash. Alvin Chow, Macau's gambling kingpin, jailed for 18 years. Iran protests, 15 minutes to defend yourself against death penalty. Those were the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the world news. The three main figures in Ukraine's Interior Ministry have been killed in a helicopter crash besides a nursery in the eastern suburb of the capital Kiev. Interior Ministry Denis Motansky, age 42, died alongside his first deputy minister and state secretary. 14 people died when the helicopter came down in Brovary around 830 hours local time, including one child, the authorities said. Macau's gambling kingpin, Alvin Chow, has been sentenced to 18 years in jail for more than 100 charges, including organized crime and illegal gaming. The 48-year-old was found guilty in a case that centered on illegal bets exceeding $105 billion. Chow, a high-profile and colorful figure in the local casino industry, had denied the charges. Macau, a former Portuguese colony, is the only Chinese city where casino gambling is legal. 4 young men have been executed in connection with a nationwide protest that erupted in Iran 4 months ago, while 18 other people have been sentenced to death. Human rights groups have said they were convicted after grossly unfair sham trials. Muhammad Mehdi Karamani, aged 22-year-old, is a karate champion, was hanged on 7th January, just 65 days after his arrest. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. Ukraine's Interior Ministry leadership killed in a helicopter crash. Alvin Chow, Macau's gambling kingpin, jailed after 18 years. Iran protests, 15 minutes to defend yourself against the death penalty. And that was the world news.
Development News.
In development news, Sri Lanka Tourism has presented 1 billion rupees to the airport and aviation services to develop the Jaffna International Airport, but no tangible results are seen, said the chairman Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, Priyantha Fernando. He said that this money was allocated from the Tourism Development Levy in a bid to upgrade the JAFF and mainly to extend its runway to accommodate large aircraft. Currently, JAF can only accommodate a smaller ATR aircraft with a maximum capacity that could carry around 75 passengers. That was the development news, and now let's move on to sports news.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
In sports news, Hashim Amla, South Africa's second highest test run scorer of all time, has retired at the age of 39. Amla scored 9,282 runs, second only to Jack Cullis, who was with 13,206 at an average of 46.64 in 124 tests. He amassed an 18,672 in all formats for the Proteas from 2004 to 2019, and no one has scored more than his 27 one-day centuries for South Africa. And still in sports news, in tennis, Rafael Nadal's Australian Open title defense is over after a second-round defeat by American Mackenzie McDonald, in which he struggled with an injury. The Spaniard, aged 36, was trailing by a set and a break when he pulled up with what appeared to be a hip problem. He took a medical timeout towards the end of the second set and continued with the match, but ultimately slipped to 6-4, 6-3, 7-5 defeat. And that was the sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB I Am, a plan for your dream.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Bank of Ceylon will amass $4 billion foreign remittances from 2023 and or 2024 onwards, said veteran banker Russell Fonseca, who assumed duties as the general manager CEO of Bank of Ceylon at the bank's head office yesterday. Speaking to media, he said today the gap between the official and unofficial bank rate offered for foreign exchange and currency is narrowing, and due to this, there is a sharp decline in Hawala schemes where foreign remittances are channeled through unauthorized means. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life ekේ change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship එක menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of
LONC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LONC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
In economic news, Sri Lanka's tea exports for the year 2022 earned a record of 411 billion rupees according to Sri Lanka Tea Board. However, in US dollar terms, it is a decline of $65.7 million against the earnings of the year 2021. Tea export revenue for the year 2022 was $1.259 billion compared with a $1.342 billion in the year 2021. That was economic news and the weather report to conclude.
LONC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LONC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Weather report.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in the Sabaragama province and in the Galle, Mathura, Kandy and Nuwara districts during the afternoon or night. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. This report was released this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. And before we conclude this bulletin of news, let's get back to the headlines once again. Elections expenditure bill to be debated in Parliament tomorrow. The Bureau of Rehabilitation Bill passed in the Parliament. Sathosa slashes the prices of 12 essential goods from tomorrow. All set to commence the 2022 GC Advanced Level Examination on Monday. Indian External Affairs Minister to visit Sri Lanka. The government was able to save around $1.2 billion from the first 3 months of the implementation of import restrictions. The murder of a female university student, the boyfriend remanded until the 30th of January. The power cut schedule for the next 2 days announced. In news overseas, Ukraine's Interior Ministry leadership killed in a helicopter crash. And in sports news, Australian Open 2023 injured Rafael Nadal loses to Mackenzie McDonald. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.